Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. For thine is the kingdom, thine is the power and the glory forever, forever. Amen. Give us, Lord, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us, Lord, forgive us of our debts. For thine is the kingdom, thine is the power and the glory forever, forever. Amen. Amen. Lead us from temptation. Lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. To thy salvation, for thine is the kingdom, thine is the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thine is the kingdom, thine is the power and the glory forever, forever. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Good morning, Inner Light. Welcome. Thank you. That was Cassandra Hunter on vocals this morning. She's our musical inspiration. Marty Hunter. And we have Rysel Kreitman on piano. And I just want to say thank you all for joining us on the live stream this morning. We're so grateful to have you here. And we'll have Ron Goodman joining us on the pulpit this morning, and he is the pulpit assistant. We have Cassandra Davies as our guest speaker. As I mentioned, Marty Hunter, our musical inspiration. We have Chris Greenwood on backup vocals and Sarah Walpole on backup vocals as well. Barbara Buchanan will be flanking Cassandra this morning. And I hope you're all well. We had a really wild storm here in Santa Cruz County last night. So wherever you are, I hope that you are feeling blessed and abundant and safe with loved ones. I'm just going to share a quick message from Reverend Deborah this morning that she wanted me to read. Greetings to you this day. As I take some much-deserved time off, you are in for a real treat today. Cassandra Davies and Marty Hunter are amongst our finest practitioners of higher consciousness. They commuted 100 miles weekly for 4 years to finish our training program. I had the pleasure of consecrating their 20-plus year union right where you will see them. Their love and dedication have always been an inspiration to me. Both has served in numerous capacities at Inner Light. Most notably, Cassandra has served for many years as co-chair of our prison outreach program. Marty has been an event planner for our 10, 15, and 20-year celebrations and our ambassador to Agape's Revelation Conference, where we would always show up with the largest contingency. You will be moved by their artistic skills of music and spoken word, as well as their solid presentation of principles. I would also like to acknowledge our sister church, Etherian Mission in Accra, Ghana, celebrating their 45-year anniversary today. If it were not for COVID, I would have been there in person delivering a keynote address along with Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith instead of pre-recorded video. Please show that community some love as well and check out their celebration online. Many blessings to you this gorgeous day, even in the midst of the pandemic, politics, and all sorts of unpredictability. Know one thing for sure: God by any name is still God, with not only the final decree, but a preemptive divine design. Be safe, be well. That's from Reverend Deborah L. Johnson. Thank you all for joining us this morning.
I invite everyone right now who is viewing and listening and who is here to just take a nice, cleansing, deep breath and relax into hearing as we connect in with Spirit. God, we know that you are with us always. We know you are with us whether we are here in our church home or whether we are anywhere else on this Mother Earth. And we know our community expands the earth. We have people everywhere, and there are people everywhere who are all your children, sweet Spirit. And in knowing that, we are learning, doing our best to learn to become one with each other, because we know we are oneness in spirit. And each individual community we're in connects with Spirit. We are deeply grateful for this opportunity to have this journey that you give us, the gift of life. And I say a blessing this morning for Marty Hunter's music and the music that supports her, all the musicians that bring your sweet music to our service and is part of the service. I say a blessing and hold space for Cassandra Davies, who will be bringing the word today in her incredible way of reaching us all. And I say a blessing for all the people who helped put this together and make this work. I am so grateful. I am standing in gratitude and in joy and in love, knowing that all is well this day in your realm, knowing that as we connect with you, the outcome we know not, but we know it is good. It is your desire. And I release this prayer right now, knowing that as it goes into the heavens, into the ether, into the world, you are guiding us spiritually. You are loving us with all your heart. And we all are loving you back. I release that and let it go and know that all is well. And so it is. Amen. For our affirmative actions today, if you're joining us online, you will find the activations and statement of purpose on your screen. Please say the affirmations with me. In consciousness, I am being. In the silence, I am listening. In the nothingness, I am all. In the all, I am nothing. In the space, I am infinity. In the movement, I am still. In the void, I am present. In the mind, I call in the heart. In the judgment, I stand judgeless. In the sorrow, I am joy. In the storm, I seek peace. In the lie, I seek truth. In the moment, I am myself. In life, I am always in a state of being. And in the being, I choose to be love. I choose to be love. Please join me now in the purpose statement, which is available on your screen. Inner Light Ministries is a non-faith outreach ministry dedicated to spiritual transformation. We provide tools for living that encourages the practical application of universal spiritual principles to all of life's circumstances. Our aim is healing through the energy of love and the revealing of our own inner light. As an omnifaith ministry, we embody spiritual oneness, appreciate individualized expressions, and honor all paths that lead to truth.
I can hear the choir sing. Hope we need you, calm the rain. This world we live in, it's a mystery. I stay strong 'cause change gon' come. Yes, I believe in freedom. I know one day my eyes will get to see. There's a song I'm gonna keep on singing. And there's a dream I'm gonna keep believing. And it says, hold on. It says, hold on. But now is when we need victory. There's a song I'm gonna keep on singing. And there's a dream I'm gonna keep believing. And it says, hold on. It says, hold on. It says, hold on. Have hope in humanity. 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 Have hope. Love overcomes. Love has won over hate. We are one. Yes, we're one. Human race. Love overcomes and overcomes. Love has won over hate, and we are one. We are human race. There's a song I'm gonna keep on singing. And it says, we've got to hold on. Yes, we've got to hold on. Have hope in humanity. 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 Have hope.
Color me with perception, separation, fear, and judgment. How cold your reception. You look at me but do not see, no connection of the I in you and me. The holy I in me longs to see and connect with the holy I in you, for we are one, equally warmed by the light of the sun. You look at me but do not see, for consciousness only allows one to see that degree of light that one has chosen to be. Yet still, there's recognition of an inner light, ever present though undetected by physical sight. This inner light is the flame which draws the moth, the idea that becomes the seed, the blueprint of who we be. The holy I that is in you, that is in me. So when I look at you, it isn't the vessel of you that I see, for bodies only manifest form from thought, thought from idea, idea from principle, principle from the one. Therefore, see me not as that which your eyes perceive, for I can tell you that yes, they do deceive. Instead, shine your inner light in all directions and let it illuminate your perception. And as you open to the holy I in you, you will begin to see the holy I in me and realize that we are really one, descended from the one and equally warmed by the light of the sun. Good morning, Inner Light. I'm Cassandra Davies. The theme this month is community, and my topic today is consciousness defines community. How does consciousness define our ideas about community? I'm going to be using poetry and the Socratic method to investigate this question and this idea. The Socratic method is a form of cooperative, argumentative discussion. It's designed to stimulate critical thinking and also to expose presuppositions. Right now, we're witnessing an incredible time of uncertainty, upheaval, and discord. And there's just this jumble of emotion and the idea of separation. We're seeing violence across the country. We're seeing political unrest. And we're seeing finger pointing from all sides. But if we were to stop and examine where our consciousness is, if we could elevate our perceptions and see an entirely new kind of community, I believe that community is something that we can all aspire to, no matter who we are. I hope the questions that are raised here will encourage you to reflect and step into a place that I call divine neutrality. Do you have diversity consciousness? When you look at me, do you see a label, a gender, a color, a nation, a history, or a divine mystery? Is my identity the former, or am I the latter? Labels, physical characteristics, philosophies, even our history are being used to separate us into categories and assign values. This is a function of language. Language categorizes, describes, names, labels, and it provides separation. It's something that we use to set ourselves apart, to set others apart, to determine safety, to assign value. But what if we exist and have existed since before language? If you didn't have language, what would you use to define everyone, each other, yourself? There's a passage in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5, that is really beautiful, and I love the message that it conveys. Jeremiah is a prophet, and he was experiencing doubt and asking God, why had he been chosen to be his prophet? And the Spirit of God came to him and said, even before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. Even before you were in your mother's womb, God knew you. That means you existed before the physical. And language, being a function of the physical, cannot adequately define who you are. Do you have diversity consciousness? Can you look at me and see what lies behind my eyes? We both may have pain, but what makes yours any greater? Why not release it before it makes you into a hater? Contrast and comparison with our other selves is what causes that sense of separation when we contrast and compare ourselves to others. We hold on to trauma and wield it as if it were a sword and shield against the world. When we do that, we solidify our position on the victim, villain, hero triangle. Now, the victim, villain, hero triangle is a way of, like a container that many people naturally use to navigate the world, as a victim or as a villain, as a hero. None of it's conscious. None of it's black and white definable. It's very fluid. Victim morphs into villain, feeling so justified by their wounds and trauma. Victim morphs into villain. Heroes need villains to blame and victims to rescue. And the cycle is perpetuated on and on and on. Wars, violence, crime, etc. Right now, you see me, and you are seeing Cassandra 2.0. That's what my family calls me, Cassandra 2.0. Pre-Cassandra 2.0 was firmly ensconced on the victim, villain, hero triangle. I had experienced bullying a lot growing up, and I had developed a persona that was my warrior and my shield and sword, which was a very intense anger that I carried around and was really effective at using to repel people to keep myself safe, so I thought. Not only did I keep myself safe, I kept myself apart and separated and wondered, why did I feel lonely? Go figure. But I realized long time ago that I could heal my generalized prejudices that I had against the world by applying forgiveness to my resentments and my isms. I didn't have to confront anyone. I didn't have to demand apologies. I didn't even have to seek out acknowledgement of any wrongdoing. All I had to do was realize that I had the sole power and responsibility to take control over my response, over my relationship to life. How can you release your pain? Can you release your pain without prerequisite? Do you have diversity consciousness? If you walk a mile in my shoes and I walk in yours, I bet we will find that our shoes are interchangeable and our understanding of each other is rearrangeable. Perspective is everything. In the same way that 6 people from 6 different perspectives will look at a Rubik's Cube and see a different color, shifting perception changes everything. It changes the entire effect. I've learned that human beings act out of perceptions, judgments, beliefs, and all of that, the beliefs especially, are motivated oftentimes by trauma and pain. I've also learned that perceptions and beliefs can change. We simply have to be willing to look at them. To be in response to life versus in reaction, we have to be able to look at our perceptions from a place of what I call divine neutrality. How do we get there? And what is divine neutrality? We've all grown up thinking good versus bad, good, bad, hot, cold. And we naturally do this with everything that happens in life. We have an instinctive view of that's good or that's bad. But what if we could get to a place that when something happens, we say, oh, I see that. I see that. I acknowledge that. And allow the emotion or thought that it brings up to simply be, to not act on it, to allow it to move through. And then maybe ask, what was that? Why did I have that emotion? How can I release it? Is it really true that it's good or bad, or is it just I had to choose whether or not I wanted to remain Cassandra 1.0 with being reactive and carrying anger. And I had to look and say, what were those beliefs that have me feeling this way the predominant amount of my time? And I looked and saw that I had judgment. I was classifying people that I didn't know in anticipation of reliving some pain from my past. And when I realized that I had a belief that was leading me to do that, I had to stop myself and say, wow, does this belief serve me? Is this belief going to allow me to be my best self? And my conclusion was no. So instead of making myself wrong for having that belief that maybe a 6 or 7-year-old developed, you can just say, okay, that one doesn't work. I'm not going to use that one anymore. What can I build that will work? We can just simply look at our lives, maybe from the perspective of sort of a scientific method, or if you're an athlete, you can relate to making adjustments. I can adjust my thinking this morning. Let me adjust this belief because that one doesn't quite serve me. Can you be open to other points of view? Can you ask questions and learn to listen? Can there possibly be information that you don't have? What don't you know? When we acknowledge without any judgment that we don't have all the answers, we can actually open ourselves up to new knowledge. And that new knowledge will come from wherever it comes. Do you have diversity consciousness? Can you give honor and appreciation to all whom you perceive? Consider the beliefs hiding deep inside you. Do they inspire love or do they misguide you? When we begin to dissolve those unserving beliefs, something magical happens. And I've seen this. Human beings have these core qualities that are our natural default. But through the living of life and experience, they can sometimes get layered over by our response to uncomfortable situations or trauma or pain. And cover up those qualities. The type of qualities that are our default, that when we find what real forgiveness is and let go of our traumas and pains and move ourselves into the present, what starts to rise up is a form of magic. These qualities will start to express themselves like understanding, cooperation, recognition of the soul of an individual. We start to see each other, and we start to see each other's value. And all of the labels and value judgments, the function of language sort of dissipates. And what's left there is that light, that existed prior to language. Our beliefs are often inherited from family, friends, social circles, and experience. And they can very easily misguide us. All we have to do is agree with them. And sometimes that we need to explore what the motivation for that agreement is. Like, why do I agree with this? Do I agree with this because it makes me feel superior? Do I agree with something because it feeds my anger and I feel justified? Do I agree with this because I want to see some sort of overage over another? Or do I agree with this because it serves my soul? Do I agree with this because it comes from a place of love where I want to be from? Several years ago, my prison ministry co-chair and I, Russell Downing, traveled up to Sacramento to work with juveniles in the California Youth Authority. And we encountered a young man who, when he walked into the room, Russell and I could both see and feel this intense anger that he carried within himself. And the staff had told us, keep an eye out. He's dangerous. He's accused of some really vicious, violent gang activity. Now, I could have taken that language and created a filter right there. Oh, this guy, we need to watch out for. But we don't do that here at Inner Light. And as we conversed with the men about the functions of the mind and taught them about the victim, villain, hero triangle and the way that whatever age a trauma that a trauma occurs, that age, 6, 7, 3, 4 years old, a choice was made. And we oftentimes end up living out choices made by children. And when he got that understanding and was able to recognize that he'd grown up in a culture of agreement through social community that he was basically sort of born into, when he got that understanding that there was actually another way to look at life, another community to step into, Russell and I saw this transformation happen in this young man. And I could literally see the shift in his eyes, where he went from someone who had these labels on him to a brand new being. He told us that he was relieved to know that there was a new way to look at life, a new way to experience life. And that was the miracle that is so available to anyone. Do you have diversity consciousness? What is it that you truly believe about those who fall under the definition of other? Can't you see the commonality of all beings descended from a universal mother? Do you have diversity consciousness? So know this. Language is a function of the physical. The definition of other, a group or a member of a group that is perceived as different, foreign, strange, etc., creates a space for prejudice and separation. But metaphysically speaking, spiritually speaking, there is only one. There is no other. There's only one of us here. We're simply seeing and interacting with and meeting new versions of the divine, an expression, an individuated expression. That's what we are. That's who we are. So, to review, science tells us that the fabric of all existence is contained in a unified field of consciousness. That unified field is creative. It responds to our thought. We call it God. If you can accept that the unified field is the source of all, perhaps you can also accept that it occurs pre-language. If you can accept that it is also conscious and existed pre-language, perhaps you can also accept that without language, there are no categories and no value system to lay upon others. And there's no separation. If you can accept that the unified field is creative and the first and only value placed on its creation ever reported was that it was good, then perhaps you can accept that all creation is good. that the core of every being you meet is good. Perhaps you can also accept that all beings come from that same source of divine neutrality. And that is where our real community lies. If you can align your consciousness with these ideas, if you can reach a level of divine neutrality, if you can sit in the stillness, close your eyes, and imagine yourself, imagine your consciousness rising up from your seat in your chair to above your head, outside of your body, above the level of your home, above the level of your city, expanding consciousness, seeing in all directions, above the level of your state, above the level of your country, far above the atmosphere, to see the planet in its entirety, to move even further out and recognize that there's a oneness to our entire solar system, to our galaxy, that there are other millions upon millions of galaxies with the possibility of the divine neutrality producing life everywhere. And then perhaps that source, that spark of our consciousness will awaken itself in you and stimulate you to remember we are all one. We are all the same. With these things in mind, I will ask you again, do you have diversity consciousness? When you look at me, do you see a label, a gender, a color, a nation, a history, or a divine mystery? Do you have diversity consciousness? Can you look at me and see what lies behind my eyes? We both may have pain, but what makes yours any greater? Why not release it before it makes you into a hater? Do you have diversity consciousness? If you walk a mile in my shoes and I walk in yours, I bet we will find that our shoes are interchangeable and our understanding of each other is rearrangeable. Do you have diversity consciousness? Can you give honor and appreciation to all whom you perceive? Consider the beliefs hiding deep inside you. Do they inspire love or do they misguide you? Do you have diversity consciousness? What is it that you truly believe about all beings descended from a universal mother? Do you have diversity consciousness? Let's pray. In this moment right now, Right now, I'm breathing. I simply breathe. I breathe in the knowledge that there is a divine light, a divine source that is not some nebulous out there. It is intimately infused in my being. It is the place that occurs before language. All I need do is breathe into it and allow it to express. I release my preconceived notions of what life should look like on my terms, and I let life be on God's terms. And in the face of uncertainty and turmoil, I breathe into the peace that is pre-language. I let go of the language, and I choose to simply be. And from this place, all sense of separation dissolves, and I see human beings of divine origin, possibly acting out of pain and trauma. But I see past that. I see past the behavior, and I see that divine community called humanity. I give thanks for the grace and the glory that has sourced humanity, that is ever present in its full power and potential, right here, right now, in each and every person here, online, watching replay, on YouTube, on Facebook, in this very room. I give thanks. How beautiful it is to be in community, to be a part of God's community. I let my consciousness divine determine the community that I see. And I claim that with a higher consciousness that I can reach, the more beautiful community is that I see. And with joyful anticipation, I release these words into the law that is God, knowing they cannot return void. So with gratitude, I let it go, and I just simply say, together we say, and so it is. Amen.
For thine is the kingdom, thine is the power and the glory forever, forever. Amen. Thine is the kingdom, thine is the power and the glory forever, forever. Amen. For thine is the kingdom, and thine is the power, and the glory forever, forever. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Marty. Beautiful. And thank you, Cassandra, for your really moving message today. We're so grateful and blessed to have you here with us. And thank you all for being with us and viewing today. This is our time of conscious contribution. And I just want to say thank you for all that you've already given and all that you're to be giving. And, you know, one of the things that I love about this community, Inner Light Ministries, is that we're not required to be members here. And because of that, there's this tone of come here and learn what we need to learn and then bring it back out into the world, bring it back to our other spiritual communities, bring it out into our community, our families, our friends, wherever we go, we bring it with us. And there's beauty in that. And there's also the in that we aren't requiring membership fees for the people who are a part of this community. And so we really appreciate and depend on the ties that come through so that we can continue to get this message out, so that we continue to make programs available. I know that my life has been completely transformed by this ministry, and I feel just so moved and filled up by the Spirit right now that we have beautiful guest speakers and beautiful guest musicians coming in every week. We have just incredible consciousness. And I know that by hearing these messages, I'm moved and touched. And every time, every Sunday, it's something different. And I really do feel like I was touched today, and I'm really excited to reflect on these words and these feelings. So I thank you for whatever it is that you're able to give, even if it's just your love and your prayers and your service, your energy, your time, your money, whatever it is. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. So if you are wishing to give today, there's a donate button on your screen. You can also go to paypal.me/innerlightministries. And if you are in need of prayer, we are a praying community, and we really don't want you to be alone with a heavy heart. So please, even if you're not having a heavy heart, we have our prayer services available to you. So our email prayer is 4prayer, the number 4, @innerlightministries.com. Or you can call our prayer line, which is 831-465-9090, extension 254. And you can find all of this information on our website as well, innerlightministries.com. So I'd like to just share with you a few things that we have going on virtually and in person. Most of our services and programs at this point are virtual amidst the pandemic. So thank you for joining us and participating and allowing us to keep being in community with each other, because it's the commune that really brings us together in community. So this upcoming Friday, we have the virtual drumming circle, which has been moved from We normally gather together, but it's happening virtually. That's Friday at 7 p.m. That's August 21st. And with Carla, one of our longtime members here at Inner Light, we have a grief yoga section. Grief yoga, which just disappeared from my screen. I believe it is on Saturday, the 22nd. So this next Saturday coming up, and that's from 3 to 5:30. You can find more information on our website and our Facebook page. We also have a book study coming up, and I want to give a sincere apology. Last week, I left the name of the book out and also some really important context for that book study. So the book is called Me and White Supremacy by Layla Saad, and Inner Light practitioners Vanessa Wilson and Patty McCarran will be hosting that book circle, book study. That's going to be starting on Mondays for 10 weeks. And that's next Monday, the 24th, it'll be starting. So please, if you'd like to join, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about that. This book study is an opportunity for white people to examine their own white supremacy, go deeper into anti-racism work, talk about racism, and work through the barriers of silence around the topic of race. This is a chance to challenge white people to work through guilt and shame to become more human and more whole. Please join us to move forward toward our mutual liberation. This is not a drop-in group. It's limited to 10 people. You can register by contacting Vanessa directly. Her phone number is 831-428-5426, or you can email her at vvwilson@gmail.com. We also have with Rev Ann Forsberg her spiritual watershed coming up. That'll be Monday on August 31st, 7 to 9. And our second Harvest Food Bank will continue outdoors, farmers market style. And that is on Thursdays from noon to 1. Please wear a mask and social distance as always. And I just invite you to, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, share on Facebook. We, as a community together, multiply this consciousness. So thank you for spreading the word. And I'll just invite Marty to take us home. Thank you.
Thank you. This last song is one that I wrote about 10 years ago. And it is something that I encourage everybody to sing the chorus. And you'll get it after the first, maybe second time. So. I am one with God.
I am one with God.
I am one with the infinite.
I am one with the infinite.
I am one with God.
I am one with God.
I am one with the infinite.
I am one with the infinite.
And I know that power is within me, and I know that change comes from within. Yes, I know that joy comes in the morning, and I know that God is within. There was a day when I was afraid. There was a time when I was unsure. There was a moment when I simply knew that God was within. There was a day when I was in fear. There was a time when I was in tears. There was a moment when I simply knew that God was within. I am one with God.
I am one with God.
I am one with the infinite.
I am one with the infinite.
I am one with God.
I am one with God.
I am one with the infinite.
I am one with the infinite.
And I know that power is within me, and I know
that
that change comes from within. Yes, I know.
I know.
That joy comes in the morning, and I know.
I know.
That God is within. What can you do when you are in pain? What can you do when you're in despair? When is the moment that you simply know that God is within? What can you do when you are in judgment? What can you do when you are in doubt? And when is the moment that you simply know that God is within? You are one with God.
You are one with God.
You are one with the infinite.
You are one with the infinite.
You are one with God.
You are one with God.
You are one with the infinite.
You are one with the infinite.
And I
know.
That power is within you, and I know.
I know.
That change comes from within. Yes, I know.
I know.
That joy comes in the morning, and I know.
I know.
That God is within. Now is the time for us to stand in the light. Now is the time for us to stand up for what's right. Now is the time for us to simply know that God is within. Now is the time for us to stand in faith. Now is the time for us to walk in grace. Now is the time for us to simply know that God is within. We are one with God.
We are one with God.
We are one with the infinite.
We are one with the infinite.
We are one with God.
We are one with God.
We are one with the infinite.
We are one with the infinite.
And I
know.
That power is within us, and I know. That change comes from within. Yes, I know. That joy comes in the morning, and I know. That God is within, and I know. That power is within you, and I know. That change comes from within. Yes, I know. That joy comes in the morning, and I know. That God is within, and I know. That power is within me, and I know. That change comes from within. Yes, I know. That joy comes in the morning, and I know. That God is within. Yes, I know. That joy comes in the morning, and I know. That God is within.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Russell, Chris, Sarah. Thank you, all of our volunteers, camera, sound. Interlight community, you are most beloved part of our extended community and family. We love you. Let's take this consciousness and multiply it.